China and India have had ongoing disputes over the effective border between the two countries, known as the Line of Actual Control, for decades. The most recent confrontation broke out into a lethal clash that has left at least 20 Indian border troopers dead. Here is what you need to know. Indian and Chinese border defense troops had a deadly encounter last Monday that left at least 20 Indian soldiers, including a colonel, dead, according to the Times of India. The New York Times reports a dozen Indian soldiers remain missing. They are thought to have been captured by Chinese forces. The clash occurred in the Galwan Valley region of eastern Ladakh. Details of the encounter are unclear. However, The Guardian reports that the altercation seems to have happened when Indian border troops unexpectedly met Chinese troops while patrolling. China and India have had decades-long disputes over the Line of Actual Control, which separates the two countries. The two countries fought a war over the region in 1962 and have since continued to have frequent conflicts in the area. And what does China have to say about this deadly incident? Well, according to China's Global Times, it was the Indian troops who provoked the attack by crossing the Line of Actual Control. The jingoistic state-run outlet also claims that the clash was intentionally staged as an effort to take over Chinese territory and deflect attention from India's management of the COVID-19 epidemic. The real question is, how are two growing military powers run by nationalist leaders and armed with nuclear weapons going to de-escalate tensions peacefully when both want to assert their power in the Himalayan border? Let us know what you think, Tomo Sapiens. This, of course, is not the first time China has used military force in recent years to intimidate its neighbors. Amidst a deadly global pandemic, China is planning to rattle sabers against Taiwan with major military exercise, according to the Japanese press. China's People Liberation Army Navy plans to conduct a large-scale amphibious assault drill off Hainan Island in August. Citing unnamed Chinese sources, the Japan Times reports the drill will involve landing ships, hovercraft, and helicopters, while the carrier Shandong has been deployed in Hainan since December last year. According to the Japan Times, the exercise is designed to simulate a Navy and Marines attack on the Taiwan-held Pratas, a strategically important islet that sits astride China's military egress from Hainan to the Pacific Ocean. Tensions between Beijing and Taipei rose after Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen was elected into office in 2016, on a wave of popular anger against the pro-Beijing policies of her predecessor Ma Ying-jeou. According to Reuters, Taiwan in April announced plans to buy arms from France to upgrade its fleet of 6 French-made Lafayette-class frigates. Responding to protests from Beijing, France's foreign ministry suggests China should focus on battling COVID-19 instead. En anglais, it means go pound the sand. The U.S. Naval Institute reports a U.S. Navy Arleigh-Burke-class destroyer made a transit through the Taiwan Strait to warn Beijing's leadership against taking aggressive action in the region. The Japan Times reports U.S. electronic warfare aircraft may have passed the strait 14 times in April alone. According to Taiwan's state-run Central News Agency, a Chinese Y-8 aircraft flew into Taiwan's air defense identification zone before being headed off by fighter jets on April 8th. This is the 7th time Chinese military planes flew near Taiwan's airspace this year. Hours after a U.S. transport plane made a rare flight over Taiwan, a group of Chinese warplanes entered Taiwanese airspace. Taiwan's Air Force scrambled planes to warn off multiple Chinese fighter jets that had briefly entered Taiwan's air defense identification zone on June 9th, the country's defense ministry said in a statement. The Su-30 fighters, some of China's most advanced jets, were issued verbal warnings to leave, and Taiwanese Air Force jets drove away the intruders, the ministry said. The military has full surveillance and control of all activities in the sea and air that surround Taiwan, and the public can rest assured of our capability to uphold security for our national territory, the ministry said. The Defense Ministry confirmed that a U.S. C-48 transport plane had just hours before passed over Taiwan with permission near Taipei before heading south along the country's coast. The incident occurred a day after the commander of the U.S. 7th Fleet confirmed that the guided missile destroyer USS Russell had passed through the Taiwan Strait the previous week. This was the U.S. Navy's 7th such transit this year and second in 2 weeks, According to a report in the Stars and Stripes, the Japan Times reports U.S. electronic warfare aircraft may have passed the strait 14 times in April alone. The Chinese incursion also came hours after Taiwan's defense ministry announced the country's annual Han-Kwang exercises, which had been postponed due to the coronavirus, will be conducted in July and September, Taiwan's central news agency reports. The annual exercises test the country's capabilities to ward off attacks from China's People's Liberation Army. For more news animations and explainers, hit the subscribe and bell button to join the Tomo News family. Thanks for watching.